The film starts with a train arriving at a station as Cleon, the leader of the Warriors, speaks to his group about an important meeting. The Warriors board the train and talk about the event during the ride. All well-known gangs in New York have been asked to attend this secretive gathering, with 9 members from each gang, and no weapons permitted. We then see the Warriors expressing their worries on the subway about the risks involved and the potential for violence if things go wrong. Additionally, we observe other gangs making their way to the meeting, each displaying their unique style and fashion, such as the Boppers, the Saracens, and the Electric Eliminators. Throughout the journey, the Warriors speculate about the meeting's purpose, which remains unknown until they arrive. Every significant gang in the city is present, with hundreds of gang members gathered to listen to Cyrus, the leader of the Riffs, New York's largest gang, who organized the gathering. Cleon and the Warriors push through the crowd, taking note of their surroundings before Cyrus begins his speech. It's evident that Cyrus is a compelling leader, capturing the gang members' full attention as he outlines the meeting's purpose. He explains that a unified gang could control the city, aiming to unite all gangs under a general truce to tax the crime syndicates and outnumber the police force by 40,000. He aims to take control of one section at a time, with the gangs cheering in agreement, thinking they'll now unite as a single gang. Next, we see Luther, the leader of the Rogues, pulling out a revolver. He takes aim and shoots Cyrus, who falls dead. Fox, a member of the Warriors, witnesses Luther fire the shot. Luther then tries to shoot Fox but is interrupted by the arrival of the police, causing chaos at the meeting. Cleon checks on Cyrus while the Riffs handle his body, but Luther accuses Cleon of shooting Cyrus. Cleon denies it, but the Rogues attack him, and the Riffs join in, killing Cleon in the commotion. The remaining Warriors manage to escape by breaking through a door and running through a graveyard. They hide out briefly before regrouping and realizing that Cleon is missing and likely arrested. Swan, the war chief and second in command, informs the group that they need to get back to their home turf, Coney Island. Cochise points out that every cop in the city is looking to arrest gang members. Swan acknowledges this but adds that the gang truce is over and that they will have to fight their way back. Swan orders the group to leave and meet at Unity Station if they get separated. Ajax, however, wants to be the new leader and is prepared to fight for the position. The other Warriors defuse the situation, and the gang leaves the graveyard. Rembrandt marks their spot. The next scene shows the Riffs gathering at their hangout. Masai, the new Riffs leader, reviews his soldiers before ordering them to capture the Warriors, dead or alive, and to notify other major gangs to join the hunt. A radio host then airs the Riffs' request, alerting all city gangs. With this news, the big-name gangs prepare to look for the Warriors. The Warriors are in for a challenging night, with every gang now aiming to kill them. Meanwhile, the Warriors are hiding, waiting for a train, while Cochise and Ajax argue against hiding. A bus filled with Turnbull ACs, one of New York's most dangerous gangs, passes by. The Warriors realize the truce is over as their train arrives, forcing them to run openly to catch it. They sprint to the station as the Turnbull AC's bus turns and gives chase. It's a tense moment, knowing capture means certain death, but the Warriors manage to board the train just in time, taunting the ACs as the train departs. On board, they celebrate momentarily until Swan urges them to stay calm as their journey isn't over. A Riff informs Masai of the AC's failure to catch the Warriors. Next, the train stops at a platform blocked by the fire department due to a blaze, making the Warriors anxious about a potential trap. We then shift to the Rogues, where their leader, Luther, is making a phone call with his gang waiting nearby. After he hangs up, one of the Rogues expresses concern about getting caught for Cyrus's murder. Luther reassures him not to worry. When a store owner nearby asks for payment, Luther angrily lashes out, revealing his instability and menace. Meanwhile, the Warriors are in Tremont after getting off the train and notice they are being watched from the rooftops. Fox identifies the Watchers as a small gang called the Orphans, known for their weak reputation. They encounter a group of orphans on the street, and Swan decides to talk. Sully, the orphans' leader, calls for backup. As Swan and Fox approach, Sully introduces himself and warns them to stay off his turf. Fox mentions they attended the big meeting, but Sully, surprised and unaware, can't believe the orphans weren't invited. Trying to prove their worth, Sully shows Fox a newspaper clipping about the orphans. Fox plays along and tells Sully they mean no harm. Mercy, a follower, tries to instigate a fight between the gangs. Sully unwillingly allows the Warriors to pass through if they remove their colors, attempting to blend in as civilians. However, Swan refuses, so Sully and the orphans retreat, readying for a confrontation. The warriors press forward through orphans' territory, with Mercy trailing behind at a distance. Mercy is ambushed by Ajax while Swan questions her motives. During their exchange, the orphans return, looking for a fight and having the warriors outnumbered 3-1. The warriors decide to use a Molotov cocktail, which Swan ignites and throws at a parked car. The explosion created allows the warriors to escape. They make it to the next station, board a train with Mercy, and continue their journey. Meanwhile, the Rifts learn that the orphans couldn't capture the warriors. Luther and the rogues determine to hunt down the warriors themselves. The warriors, now at Unity Station, are spotted by a police officer, leading to a chase. The group scatters, and Fox is tackled by an officer. Fox tells Mercy to flee but is thrown onto the tracks and killed by an oncoming train. Rembrandt, Vermin, and Cochise manage to board another train just in time. Swan and the others exit the station, only to find themselves surrounded by the Baseball Furies, a dangerous gang with painted faces and baseball bats. The warriors opt to run, and the Furies launch into a pursuit through the streets. Believing they have evaded the gang, the warriors stop to rest but soon realize the Furies are still on their tail. They then cut through Riverside Park, with the Furies in close pursuit. Swan then orders the group to split up, taking Snow with him. He then captures one of the Furies by himself, beats him up, and takes his bat. Meanwhile, Cowboy and Ajax are still being chased. Cowboy tells Ajax he can't run any longer, so Ajax decides to fight. He turns around and knocks out one of the Furies, but Cowboy gets knocked out in the process. Ajax then confronts their leader, who shows off his skills before Ajax finally defeats him. Swan and Snow then return, and a brawl ensues. The warriors manage to overcome the odds and defeat their enemies. They pick up Cowboy and continue heading home. We then switch to the radio presenter announcing that the Furies have been defeated. Vermin, Cochise, and Rembrandt get off the train, spot the Lizzies, an all-female gang, and decide to introduce themselves. Meanwhile, back at Riverside Park, the warriors encounter a woman sitting on a bench. Ajax wants to stick around and get a favor from her, but the others tell him it's a foolish idea and they should focus on getting home. Regardless, Ajax stays behind, and after approaching the woman and getting rough, she handcuffs him to the bench. It turns out she is an undercover cop, and she whistles for the other officers to arrest Ajax. Snow and Cowboy decide to return and check on Ajax, but they arrive too late and see he is already being taken into custody. At Union Station, Swan meets up with Mercy and they head towards the platform to find their friends. They spot a police officer coming their way and decide to flee, with the officer chasing them. Swan tosses a bat at the officer's legs, causing him to fall, but more police show up. They then jump onto the tracks and escape through the tunnel. Meanwhile, Vermin, Cochise, and Rembrandt are being taken to the Lizzies' apartment. Once there, the Lizzies try to seduce them. Vermin and Cochise easily give in, interested in some sensual favors, but Rembrandt feels uneasy. He notices that the Lizzies have a plan to trap the warriors and alerts his friends. A fight breaks out, Rembrandt gets cut by a knife, and one of the Lizzies pulls a gun, but the trio manage to escape. They navigate through the streets and stop in an alley to bandage Rembrandt's injury, realizing that every gang in the city is after them. Meanwhile, Swan and Mercy continue walking through the tunnel. Mercy tries to seduce Swan and they share a kiss, but Swan stops it, saying he doesn't like her lifestyle and she belongs to the streets. He leaves her behind and continues alone to the next station, not knowing he is being followed by a member of the Punks, a gang known for their distinctive overalls. Swan keeps moving through the station, trying to locate his friends while the Punk trails him. Snow and Cowboy meet up with Rembrandt and the others, informing them that Ajax has been arrested. They decide to search for Swan. Meanwhile, Mercy is walking through the station and notices that the Punks are trailing Swan. She warns him that they are after him, but Swan is already aware. He spots the rest of the warriors coming down the stairs and gestures for them to enter the restroom. He then pulls Mercy inside, where the warriors are getting ready for a fight. The Punks follow them inside, attempting to ambush the warriors, who surprise the Punks by emerging abruptly from the bathroom stalls. A fierce fight ensues, with several Punks getting injured. Each warrior fights fiercely, and despite being outnumbered, they manage to defeat the Punks. The scene shifts to the Rifts hangout, where Masai inquires about the warriors. Another member mentions that they have a visitor who claims to have witnessed Cyrus's shooting at the meeting. Back on the train, the warriors are tired and bruised. A group of teenagers boards the carriage and notices Mercy and Swan. Seeing Mercy's dirty feet makes her uncomfortable, and she tries to clean up, but Swan gently stops her, subtly indicating that she shouldn't be ashamed. At dawn, the train reaches Coney Island. The warriors disembark, with Swan sharing a quiet moment with Mercy before they leave. However, the rogues are patrolling Coney Island, closely shadowing the warriors and waiting for an opportunity to strike. The warriors decide to arm themselves by breaking off pipes and rusty metal from beneath the bridge, all while being watched by the rogues. Luther, who leads the rogues, taunts the warriors, inviting them to fight while becoming increasingly unhinged. The warriors observe Luther until Swan asks his team if they are ready. Then they move towards the beach, meeting the rogues on the sand. As Luther and the rogues draw closer, they begin to exchange words. Swan questions Luther about killing Cyrus, to which Luther responds that he had no reason, showing his instability. Luther then brandishes a gun, preparing to shoot Swan and end the warriors. However, before he can shoot, Swan swiftly throws a pocket knife, striking Luther in the arm, causing him to fall to his knees in pain and defeat. Swan then approaches Luther and cuts a piece of his hair to humiliate him. Suddenly, around 40 members of the Riffs arrive and confront both gangs. Swan asks if the Riffs still want the warriors, but Masai responds that they have what they need, allowing the warriors to leave while surrounding the rogues. Luther starts screaming for mercy. Meanwhile, a radio presenter reports that the Riffs have realized their mistake and calls off the search for the warriors. Swan and Mercy share a moment on the beach before the warriors walk away along the shore. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.